Alright, good afternoon by my watch here. I think it's just 2:10 p.m. So I'll say good afternoon. You're welcome to this tutorial on IMP, and I want to respond quickly to a friend of mine from Nasarawa who actually did an animation, and the camera was actually done in the wrong way, or let me say maybe there is a better way to actually animate a camera. Let me show you what we actually intend to do so we can okay, alright, this is what we actually want to do. What you're seeing here is like a mast, and this is the second camera that came in again, detailing. Okay, you can see it came from the bottom, revealed it up, and it rolled around the mast, and of course it blends into another one. That is actually what I want to show you how I achieved this. I think I did this for DigiTeam of NTA anyway. So this is the original file, and I don't think I need to play it for you anymore. You've seen the final output. But what I would just quickly explain here is on how to animate your camera using the null and using spline. Yes, I will go very brief anyway. Several ways of animating. Let's assume we want to use this method, or whereby you have your object at a static point. If you notice what is happening here, my mast is actually on a static point. It's not moving. It's my camera that is moving. But animation, you actually have the choice to also animate the object, but in this sense it's obvious we can't animate the mast. We should animate the camera just to help us reveal. So let us just imagine that is what we're gonna do here again. So let me just imagine that this is a mast, kind of, anyway. These are mast, or whatever it is, or whatever it looks like anyway. So for you to use the crude method which my friend in Nasarawa used, I think he did something like this. Oh, sorry, let me just bring up a camera. I think he did something like this, and okay, at frame 0 he kind of like animates, moves forward to, let me say, 30. You turn this, and I'm on auto animate. I'm on auto keyframe, sorry, so I might not need to press again. So I think this is the way he actually did his animation, and when I saw it I laughed like I won 1 million naira. Well, don't mind me anyway. I also did mine too like that before I actually got a better method of doing it. So let's go back to keyframe number 1 and play. You can see we still have something that looks like what I actually did with the mast. Let me show you once again. We still have something that looked like this, but it's not as smooth as this, and it's not as revealing as this. What actually happened, I will show you the difference. On this project here now, I actually animated the camera, which means my object was static, just like I said, my cube. Then my camera was animated on an auto animate. This is a method, but I think there is a better method by which you could actually do this. So let's just go back to my own project, that is DigiTV. And which camera are we using here? Okay, we're using camera 1. Okay, we're using camera 1 here. So let's get back to 0. I will teach you how I actually achieve this kind of soft, smooth, regular animation without stress, without ease. And I actually believe, just like I said, that this is an advanced animating tutorial, so I will just show you the way. Alright, so getting back to my frame 0 anyway, this is my camera. What you do here is you create your camera and you make sure you create a target camera. You right click, go back to your C4D tags, then you put it on target. I actually have that already. When you click on that, of course you could have it here. You have this target object, which is actually mine is having a null. So in a nutshell, you have to create a null object for your camera. What does the null object does? The null object helps the camera to know where exactly the camera should be looking at. It's as simple as that. So when you create your null, of course, just like I have my null here, you can decide to animate your null properties too, which is what I actually did. What did I mean by that? My null is actually below my mast here. If I could show you, let me show you from other screen. Anyway, okay, right, this is my null. Anyway, you could see, but as my timeline goes, you could see that my null is actually moving upwards. So what am I trying to reveal to you is that, just like I said, that wherever your null is, that is where the camera will actually be looking at. So I animated my null from 0 here, I think, then to gradually move up, and I actually stopped at a point so my other camera can actually work. Let's go back to our F1. Anyway, so two things I did: I animated my null, and of course on my camera I also animated my camera too. Then of course I created a tag. Yes, this is what we call a tag. You could use spline or anything to create it, but in my own case here, I think I use an helix here. Then of course you change the orientation such that it could be on the other side of how you actually want to reveal, or you want your camera to reveal it. If you want something like circle, you could use circle. If you want something like arc, you could use an arc. If you want something like linear, you know, only that it's going to be jerky, at least especially when it gets to the edge. But you know, you are the one that actually knows how you want to reveal whatever you want to reveal. Anyway, you could also use your spline. If you're not too good at using spline work in Cinema 4D, you could use your Adobe Illustrator, or you could use your Corel Draw. But I think this is just something you could actually do in Cinema 4D, just like I mentioned. So this is my helix. Let me just show you here on my right screen, and what you see in here basically is how I actually treated my helix. So on my objects here, you could come here. I have a start radius of 300. We are at 0, and of course my start angle 0, my end radius this could vary. This was the plane I was telling you. You change it to exit such that it's gonna be on a vertical axis such that it moves up, because what I actually want to reveal here, like I said, is standing. So really I want something like this. So how did I do? I limited the spring value such that it's not giving me too coily thing, too coily helix. So I want something stretched this way, and of course it goes up and up and up and up to that point. So that is my helix, which I actually created for the animation. So that is it. Then this is for the camera. Anyway, yes, I would show you some one or two things that I actually did. Again, let's get back to F1, and of course here, check my focal length. My focal length is 18. Why? Because I actually just want something that is going to give me a wider view such that, you know, you could actually see what we are about to reveal. But if you watch as I proceed, it is actually getting more, increasing until I get to my default, which is actually 36. So I actually started from 18, giving me a wider range, a wider angle. Of course I shouldn't go too much into cinematography aspect of it. I believe you understand. So it gets into that, and of course I can actually make a stop over here at 36. So of course you could see my field of view too also changing as I'm actually animating. So that is that for that. So once you create your helix and you create your camera, you create your null. Once your null is done, just like I said, you could use a You could use an helix for your null, you could use a spline, you could use a circle, you could use whatever you actually wish to use. Then once you create the tag, you create your camera spline tag, then you just drop the helix or your spline or your whatever path you actually want your camera to follow. You click it and drag it, of course, into your spline path. So don't forget this is the code. You right click on this, create a spline path, then you drop your spline path into it. And of course you will also need to rotate the position of your spline. Don't forget, when we are at 0 here on a keyframe here, our position 2 is at 0, and of course by the time you move forward, it changes, the value changes, the value changes, the value changes. So if I plan to stop my animation at frame 170, then of course I make sure that I have my last position at 100%. So meaning that automatically this is going to reveal for me between 0 and 100, and that is just it. By the time you do that, you have a perfectly smooth animation just like this that I've played for you all the time. So really, I can promise you can use the crude method of shift I shift to create a smooth animation like this. I'm very sure about that. And of course you have your camera number 2, which is also the same method anyway. Let me just play camera number 2 for you. So you could see number 2, we actually have more or less like a circle to reveal. What I was actually trying to showcase here is to show it from an underside, and of course it goes back again for us to see from an angle of elevation, and of course it stops here, and that is actually why you could see something like that here. Really, that is just it. So that is how it actually works, and that is the best way I think you could create your camera, and you're gonna enjoy it. Of course you could create as many as you want, just like you could see here. I have my camera 1, I have my camera 2, I have my camera 3. Once you just click on it, you could see they are the same method. So once you get it once, you could see this is actually coming from another line. Okay, let me show you. Okay, let me just reveal to you what this looks like. Let's get to F2. Let's view from the top here. Okay, let's view from the right, and you could see, let me show you what my camera number 2 looks like. This is the spline for my camera number 2. Where's cam 2? This 3, this cam number 2. Yeah, so you could see if I scroll by my timeline now, you could see how the camera is revolving around the circle that I created, just like I created an helix for this. So you could create anything, whatever thing you create. And don't forget, you have to also create a null that the camera part is actually going to follow. So once you create a null, you could see my null here at this point in time is a circle, and of course it's going to be from 0 to 100, just like I told you earlier on. Of course, if you actually want to limit the speed to, you could do that here, and which I actually believe it's something you can do. So in a nutshell, I think I've been able to show you how to use camera with spline path to create a smooth animation just like the one you're watching here. And I actually believe you will do good having any of my or most of my animation. Anyway, I think this is the way I actually do. If you could see several cameras and of course different spline paths, I would try to make another parts of a recording whereby I will show you how to actually render your cameras in different forms. Yeah, I'll show you that. Then how you can actually merge, whereby when your camera 1 finishes, you don't need to wait, or you don't need to come back to your machine to render, you can actually just give it a command. Once camera 1 finishes rendering, it gets into camera 2, it gets into camera 3, it gets into camera 4, it gets into camera 5, and as much as you have. So you could actually do that. You don't need to wait for cam 1 to finish and you trigger your machine again to no. You could do all in one piece anyway. So I think you can watch out for that tutorial. I wish soonest I'm gonna do that. All right, if you enjoy this, please give me a thumbs up. Get to my website www.integritymediaplus.com, or reach me, call me, let me know. And of course, if you have any further questions that you actually want me to answer on this, please let me know. Okay, this is a very good view, I should have shown you this. Let me know. And if you actually have any tutorial you want me to do, of course, as much as it's not going to take too much of my time, I think I will do. If you have further questions or advanced questions, well, maybe I would recommend that you be part of our training. You understand? You can get more of that on the website, just like I've been saying. But of course, I think I will appreciate a thumbs up for this. This is a free tutorial, is free from integritymediaplus.com. I mean, I didn't get this for free, but I just think it's not going to be a bad idea to do it for free. So one love anyway. Thank you.